Okay, so I thought this week's episode of Love of Kill was going to be the last. Actually, next week is. This week is episode 11. So I'm just going to do a review this week. And then next week, I'll do the live reaction for the finale. So we start off with a lengthy flashback, basically the majority of the episode, aside from the last 2 minutes. So we start off with the original Rang Ha Sung. As we know, he was taken care of and raised by Mr. Donnie. He ended up meeting from last week's episode the Rang Ha, current Rang Ha that we know, who was running away from some people that wanted to, sell him on the black market, right? So he ended up kind of protecting him, like bandaging up his wounds and everything. You can obviously tell that our current one was obviously traumatized. And we come to find out, like, one, he never told Rang Ha his name, unless he never had a name in the first place. Two, all his life so far currently, because that backstory that we got from majority of the episode looked like they were in their teens, aside from chateau, who was obviously the youngest one. All his life, all he knew was to run away and then run into shady people who would beat him up and do whatever with him. So we have a Rang Ha, past one. He kind of just took care of him and everything, and there were points in the episode where you clearly saw our current one, he suffered through traumatic experiences, because when he tried to cover him with a blanket, all he remembered was like a flashback to some guy having a rope about to tie it either around his mouth or his eyes, and he flinches. So he's been through a lot in such short amount of time, and it's really sad to think about it, and especially when you know how he is currently now and what shaped him to be because of his past. And the only person that showed him genuine kindness and just being a decent human was the Rang Ha of the past, right? So what happened was, he was going to give him tickets, like two train tickets to go wherever. And just before that happens, he gets a phone call by Chateau's father, Litz, right? Now, he was to meet Rang Ha. He didn't know, and he was supposed to deliver a package, right? But unfortunately, that package never got to be delivered in the sense that it was supposed to be, because he was killed in, the phone booth. The closest thing I can think of, and it's going to be pretty traumatic when I say this, but like, remember in Full Metal Alchemist, something like, let me not get y'all all up in your feelings, but that's basically what happened. So before he died, he told Rang Ha that he had a package in a locker. I believe it was in the same airport, same train station, in a broken locker, and inside was like a white carry-on bag, white luggage, and inside was chateau. Now that's going back to episode 10, where before chateau went to go close her eyes, her father is saying, "I'll see you later." Didn't know he put her into a luggage to keep her safe. So my guess is that luggage that Liz was supposed to give to that middleman to bring to Mr. Donnie was him having to bring his daughter, for whatever reason, we don't know, to give to Mr. Donnie to do whatever he wanted to do, and then Litz probably would have been paid off, or regardless, killed off. So he wanted to protect his daughter to the very last, and that's what he did. So we have a Rang Ha, our current one, and chateau just, they decided to run away. So they had to hijack a car, and there were people watching them at a gas station. And chateau's crying because she doesn't know where her dad is. She's with two complete strangers. They're taking care of her, and it's like a whole lot of mess for like 3 kids. I mean, 2 of them are obviously older, they're teens, but still, it's like a hard situation to be like with somebody that doesn't have an identity, then an abandoned kid, and you're in the mix of it, and you're like, I'm supposed to do a job for my boss, and everything is going left. So they find an abandoned cabin and try to stay there for the night. Of course, past Rang Ha is in a conflict because he's like should I kill the current one or shouldn't I have to take care of this abandoned orphan kid, what's going on, and all the teachings he had with Mr. Donnie. Obviously you can tell he is a good kid, because it's like he can't commit to wanting to end our current Rangha because he doesn't want to. So he's in this major conflict, but our current one is like, with those half-ass feelings of yours, it can get you killed. So he's like, to stay out of your hair, I'm going to leave. Unfortunately, he gets ambushed by the guys that tried to kidnap him in the previous episode and then sell him on the black market, on top of the guys that they met by that pit stop garage driveway when chateau need to go and use the restroom. They came and want to gang up on him, so he has to try to run away with Rangha back at the cabin with chateau. Again, he's in conflict, so he runs outside to go look for our current one, leaving chateau in an empty cabin, scared out of her mind. She doesn't know where her dad is. She doesn't know where the two mysterious dudes who were taking care of her for the short period of time are, and all that's left behind is a gun. So what she does in her scared little childlike mind is run into a closet, and this goes back to episode 2, and I forgot which other episode where it showed that flashback where she was holding the gun in her hand in the closet. And we thought it was like a grown adult that was going to come and hurt her. Come to find out, it was Rang Ha. He went to go look for her because he didn't know where she was in the dark cabin. And the minute he's like, it's okay, you can come out now, he opens up the closet, he gets shot. Okay? He gets shot and we don't know if he's dead or not. And it just ends off on the episode. Our current one, he gets ganged up in the forest and he knocks one of them over the cliff. But the person who had the problem with him from last episode, I don't know if he like managed to beat him up. All you heard was like a really hard thunk, and that was it. So OG Rangha got shot. Our current one probably got beaten to a pulp back then, and poor chateau was trembling after she done shot the shot. So it just ends off on there, and we don't know. And then the episode ends off where chateau, current time now, chateau just continues to say, I'm sorry, and then we have our current Rangha holding her in the alleyway after from last week's episode now. So they flash back to the last 2 minutes to episode 11 before the flashback began, and she's just saying, I'm sorry. And most likely, from what we can tell from there, she remembered practically everything that happened to her abandonment by her father, unwillingly so, that she did not know of, to meeting current Rangha and the past Rangha. And that's why she kept saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And it's really, when you see that, you feel really bad for her, because that was a traumatic event for her, and she had to repress her memories due to the trauma, due to, you know, all the bad things that has happened in her life, and her having to repress her memories and create a whole new identity to keep those dark memories all the way back. So yeah, it left off on a very dark note. So we'll see what happens in next week's episode, the finale episode of Love of Kill, episode 12. If you guys saw this week's episode, please do tell me in the comment section below on how you felt about this week's episode. Did they manage to answer most of the questions that we have from episode 1 till now? Because it definitely did. It definitely tied in with everything that we wanted to. It's just a matter to see now, what do the characters do from here on out? How do they move forward with all this information that's basically been given to us? Because it does tie things. It's just a matter to see like how it all played out and how it goes back connecting to episode 1. If you're a manga reader, how you felt about this episode, please do tell me. The links are in the description box, so you guys go check that out. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends, and I will see you guys later. Bye!